Welcome to my channel. Let's get right into it. Is there democracy over? I'm going to say that again. Is there democracy over? And first of all, get out of your feelings. Okay, this is facts over feelings because the truth shall make you free. Now, the Supreme Court ruling. The Supreme Court ruling in Louisiana versus Calais, the 6-3 Supreme Court ruling has a big effect on the southern states. And I'm going to say this again. The Supreme Court ruling, Louisiana versus Calais, is a snowball effect and is having a big effect on Southern Confederate states. Now, the Supreme Court struck down racial gerrymandering, like I aforementioned, in Lewis versus Calais. Now, the biggest loss that the Democrats have suffered is right now. I'm going to say that again. The biggest loss that the Democrats have suffered, not only in American history, this may be the biggest loss in history as a whole. Think about it. Ever since the Civil War, anything that has happened from their democracy has been a gain, has been, termed as progress. This is how we have the progressive agenda and the progressive movement. But this is the biggest loss in American history since the Civil War. Yes, since slavery. Think about that. And the only individuals that seem to be optimistic are the biracial, green-eyed and blue-eyed, light-skinned brothers from the North. Okay, they're not even from the South. Their seats are not affected. But Hakeem Jeffries and Cory Booker seem to be the only two individuals that I've seen on record to be optimistic, because when I look at the news and look at what's going on in Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, these individuals are like, this is the worst thing that could ever happen, because Raphael Warnock, okay, if you watched his press conference, this is devastating. Okay, now the Congressional Black Caucus will no longer be a caucus. I'm going to say that again. The Congressional Black Caucus will no longer be a caucus because they're projecting anywhere from 12 to 29 black seats to be eliminated and or lost. This is devastating. Their democracy is being dismantled in plain sight. Yes, the Southern Dixiecratic Confederate states are being dismantled. Now, Louisiana, case in point, the state of Louisiana, they basically canceled their midterm elections because of the Louisiana versus Calais, Supreme Court ruling. Now, Tennessee, there's a whole lot going on in Tennessee right now. It seems like the plantations are closing. But let me give you some flashpoints and just add some context to the situation. Now, the most important current national flashpoints is that these states are now considered the biggest redistricting battlegrounds affecting Democratic representation. These states are now considered the biggest redistricting battlegrounds affecting Democratic representation. Now, I'm going to mention the state and the main issue. Okay. And there's a bullet point created. Now, Georgia, Metro Atlanta suburb districts, Alabama, majority black district projections, Louisiana, Voting Rights Act enforcement, Florida, black opportunity districts, Texas, urban minority growth versus maps, Tennessee, Nashville vote splitting, North Carolina, extreme partisan map swings, and Ohio is a durable Republican advantage. Now, this is cause and effect. And based on this, and we're going to focus on Tennessee, because Tennessee Democrat ends its reelection bid. Now, Tennessee Democrat ends his reelection bid after map redrawing carves up his district. Now, new maps reshaped Representatives Steve Cohen's majority black Memphis district and gives an advantage to the Republican Party. Okay, now Democrat Representative Steve Cohen, of Tennessee, on Friday, just this past Friday, announced that he is ending his reelection bid, his career upended by redistricting battles, and are sweeping the county after last month's Supreme Court decision. Now, Republicans in Tennessee, Okay, this month enacted a new U.S. House map that carves up Cohen's majority black district, reshaping it to a GOP advantage as part of Donald Trump's strategy to hold on to a slim majority in the November midterms. And this is a quote: "I don't want to quit. I'm not a quitter. But these districts were drawn to beat me," Cohen told reporters in his Washington office. Now, Cohen is challenging the state's redistricting efforts in court and said that he would re-enter the race if that lawsuit succeeded in restoring his old congressional district. Now, he lamented that Tennessee would probably shift to an entirely Republican congressional delegation. Like I said, this is the biggest loss ever. Tennessee. Mr. Cohen said he lamented that Tennessee would probably shift to an entirely Republican congressional delegation after the next election, warning that it could also leave the state out of the loop once Democrats are able to regain the House once again. This is devastating. This is devastating. This is their democracy in plain sight. Is their democracy over? Because what I'm saying is, when you have individuals like Representative Cohen, who basically taps out, he says he's not a quitter, it is crazy, because experts are saying, that, this is, one of the worst things that could have ever happened. No one saw it coming. And even Willie Lynch is turning over in his grave right now, because he said we could do this for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And I know Lyndon B. Johnson is turning over because he said, I'm going to have those niggas voting Democratic for the next 200 years. And it lasted a little over 60 years. But it sounds like to me that the federal government is doing what should have been done after the Civil War. But the assassin's bullet said otherwise when Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. Now, experts are saying that this is why they continue assassination attempts on Trump. Now, if you listen to the pep talks, and I heard them, you listen to the pep talks, we got to fight, we got to get out there and all of that, the Roland Martins of the world and the left-wing media and podcasters, we got to fight, we got to organize, we got to strategize, and we got to fight. We got to fight what? Think about that. What are we fighting? Okay, we're strategizing and rallying behind what? Okay, it sounds good, but it does not make sense, because this is crazy. But when a white man quits and taps out, okay, yes, Mr. Cohen is a white politician in a majority black district, but when a white man taps out, that's a signal and sign that the party is over. Because I know a lot of you can remember, from my demographic here in Southern California, white flight, when the whites left Compton, when the whites left, West LA, when the whites left Inglewood and all that, what happened. In the words of Bubba Dub, the cities became trash. With that being said, see y'all next time. This is your man, Bouchon Glover. Hit that like, notification, subscription. See y'all next time. Better Black America TV on YouTube, a Better Black America radio show on Facebook. Until next time, peace out.